All right, so dire tactics now. So we're gonna go ahead and kill that. Okay, so we kill this. They take 5 from the dire tactics now. So down to 1. Thank you. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Jeff, and today we're going to have some fun playing Magic. And the fun thing we're trying to do today is we're playing Vigilance Tribal. So Vigilance Tribal, I've kind of gone through all the different keyword tribal decks and kind of did showcase versions of them. And I had a showcase version of this, and then I kind of play tested it and I wanted to bring it a bit more towards like a competitive version of this deck. And I actually am pretty amazed with what this one has done. I still think it needs a little bit of tweaking, but I like to showcase decks kind of to where it has extra like one-ofs or things like that, rather than just the exact fine-tuned version. You guys can kind of figure out the way you like it after that point. If you guys prefer for me to actually be making them full out, let me know and I can start changing to that. I just save those typically more towards the end of the set rather than right away when we're still learning all these cards. So what we can have in Vigilance, there's a few cards that are really good. First off, Frontland Felidar. Creatures you control with Vigilance have pay 1, tap it, and tap target creature. If they have Vigilance, we can do that after attacking. And so we can go to combat, attack in before they go to blocks. We tapped on all their blockers. We get in for a big swing. And we can get pretty big swings with this deck. We also have our Alert Heat Bonder, which gains us a crazy amount of life with this deck. I'm actually debating if I want more copies of this, but it just didn't feel like the one I wanted to add more of. But at the beginning of your end step, you gain 1 life for each creature you control with Vigilance. Also, it just being a Vigilant 2/4 means that it blocks a lot of annoying aggressive things in the early game and gains us life, which is really good against the aggro decks. So really good thing to be hitting here. Then we have our Keen Sight Mentor, which is probably the main reason that we're actually jumping into the Vigilance, which all the other mentors I've not been super happy with. But maybe I need to be revisiting how we're playing it, be playing like our Ingrath the same way that we're playing Ajani in this one, because I've been really impressed with how powerful Ajani is with all the proliferate abilities and the +1/+1 encounters on all of our Vigilance creatures and just go crazy big and wide. And so we're basically trying to make that happen. We are putting out a bunch of Vigilance creatures and just a bunch of creatures in general, put counters onto them, proliferate. So we're kind of a somewhat proliferate deck, as well as just if we get 1 or 2 counters onto everything that has Vigilance. So if we have Ajani out, we have Keen Sight Mentor out, and maybe we march the Multitudes on their end step because we have a bunch of Vigilance creatures to be able to tap at the end step. We can get extra 5 creatures, put counters with Ajani Greathearted, put counters on with Keen Sight Mentor because they have Vigilance. And all of a sudden we're swinging in for a bunch and a half. And so really cool things we do with this. We have our Venerated Loxodon to put counters onto all of our early game creatures here. And this is where like I probably would go 4 copies of this, but I wanted to make sure that we had copies for like Nissa and Vivian, which Nissa is really bonkers with Frontland Felidar, and it also just creates Vigilance creatures. Same thing with Vivian. I mean, Nissa creates hasty Vigilance creatures, so it's definitely worth having. But you might want to be going more in on the combo. I'm still trying to debate exactly like what's the best cards with this, and so I'll kind of play test this, showing all the different things that you can do with it. We have Unbreakable Formation, again putting +1/+1 counters onto everything, also protecting ourselves against board wipes. If we feel like we're going to have a board wipe coming down pretty soon, it's worthwhile to get this on either before Deafening Clarion or after turn 3 when they're about to do us Shatter the Skies or something like that. And so we have some protection from that as well in this deck. And otherwise, Huatley's Raptor, Vigilance proliferates for us. Bounty Agent has Vigilance and also can sack to destroy target legendary permanent that's artifact, creature, or enchantment. Unfortunately not planeswalkers. It's kind of a shame. I'm putting a little bit more pressure into our flyers here. So early game, Healer's Hawk, if we get a bunch of counters onto it, it's just really, really good. Same with All Seed Life's Bounty, helps us protect against removal from our bigger things. Gilded Goose, I wanted this over the Arboreal Grazer because it's flying, and so it can create food, it can gain us life, all that kind of stuff, and it also can just be an evasive big creature once we start proliferating, put counters onto stuff. So that's basically the deck. So let's go ahead and get into the gameplay, see how this does for us, and wish me luck. All right, we're up against Squeeze, and we have our Gilded Goose. Yeah, this looks pretty good. So keep this. We actually want to save that for the Ajani. So Gilded Goose, pass the turn. We don't really get to turn 2 play if we are going to also use the Temple of Plenty. So we'll see what we end up drawing into. March of the Multitudes and then Ajani after the fact is great. Or we just get Dire Tactics. That's fine. They lose 2. Down to 19. Because they lost life. Is it altogether 4? If a player lost 4 more life. Oh, they shocked in as well. That's what it was. Okay, I was confused for a moment. Like, what? Bounty Agent doesn't do a ton here. I think that we want to make sure that we can play our 2/4 So this is a little bit awkward, but I'm going to go ahead and put down Temple of Plenty over the Triome. Try to scry into something else. More lands. I mean, if it gets us to March of the Multitudes into a Johnny the Great-Hearted type of play, that is basically what we want to go for. We can go down to 1 life and then play that combo and basically get back up to 20 fairly quickly. All right, plays Godly Shrine, shocks themselves. Yeah, gets the pump here. I think the pump is the best play. They don't pump. Intriguing. General Kudro. Alrighty. Well, let's Heed Bonder. We can block General Kudro. That's a thing we can do. Is this this isn't a human. I mean, General Kudro is just good enough on its own. So we'll block here. Their life total is pretty low. Like we're taking a massive beating, but we're gonna start gaining life with this Heed Bonder. We can also Bounty Agent kill General Kudro pretty soon. So I'm debating if I just want to get out more lands, like some tap lands. Ajani's nice. We can put this up to 3, start blocking General Kudro. Then this dies tonight. Let's go Bounty Agent, gain 2. Triome. Swing in. Down to 12 past the turn. All right, so back up to 15. We take, oh man, 6 down to a 9. We get to kill General Kudro next turn. We could just block and kill it now. We'll do it on our own terms. No reason to let them play another one here. They pump, that's fine. Down to 9. We gain 2, we get to deal 2 here. So we're actually somewhat winning the race at the moment. Pass to my turn. Healer's Hawk. All right, so we actually get to a Johnny and Healer's Hawk. Put counters onto everything. Yeah, I think that's the best play. All right, so Johnny, Great-Hearted. We could have also gone for like March the Multitudes, but I guess we'll go for another turn, a later turn now. Counters onto everything. Attack in. Down to 6 and gain 2, 3. Actually, this has Vigilance. That's the other thing. The Heed Bonder, the amount of creatures that have Vigilance, even 2 turns with this can sometimes like reset your life total, and so it's pretty sweet. I've actually been really impressed with just Heed Bonder Ajani. Like anything Ajani with all the Vigilance stuff is really, really good. All right, so Dire Tactics, gonna exile this. They don't, oh, they have a human right now, so we're gonna go ahead and kill that. Okay, so we kill this, they take 5 from the Dire Tactics now. So down to 1. Now what you got, sir? Thank you. Yep. Good game. All right, good game. Swings there. Yeah, we say no blocks.
A familiar taste. But
what's the last? I mean, maybe they do have something here. All right, another Knight of the Even Legion ends the turn. All right, sweet. All right, so we'll swing in for the win. We had the March of Multitude. We had the Keen Sight Mentor. I mean, the opponent had a pretty aggressive start. They seem to be stuck on 3 lands, but that also was just because they just kept pumping Knight of the Even Legion without establishing more board state. And we definitely punished hard because Vigilance can keep attacking and still hold up blockers. That was actually really, really relevant there. All right, up against Mei. Bring it on, Mei. We'll keep this. We get Keen Sight Mentor, put a Mentor Vigilance counter onto Gilded Goose right away. And then we get to hopefully get a land to Venerated Loxodon a couple times, which will be mucho bueno. Questing Beast, also really good here. Not too shabby at all. Obosh. Obosh can be very scary. I love the Goblin one. I was gonna set that as my new like one that I always have, but this one's just also really pretty. It's really, really cool looking back here. All right, we actually want more green mana, but we are gonna go ahead for Keen Sight Mentor. Getting more bodies on the battlefield for the Venerated Loxodon is important. Put it on the Gilded Goosey. This is also nice to put onto Venerated Loxodons if we get more of them. Because having it already be a 4/4 that comes out basically for free and strengthening your team, also being able to turn it into 5/5 and stuff like that is actually really, really good. Surprisingly, who would have thought? Alright, Serrated Scorpion. Cool. This doesn't actually deal damage. So Obosh, it is if it would deal damage. So loss of life doesn't count towards that. Alright, Raptor is going to be pretty nice here as well. We can Raptor on the next turn into Venerated Loxodon. Can we also... I think if we hit land, we can also put a counter onto everything. So... Is it worthwhile putting this out now? That's my question. Now, it's Venerated Loxodon first. So, autopay. Yeah, put counters onto everything. Gilded Goose is going to be an actual threat. We're going to win with Goosies. I've got the Goosies. I'm not sure if you guys watch... my wife and I like watching World of Dance, and J-Lo always says she's got the Goosies. Anyway, if any of you guys watch it out there, you'll appreciate it. I know it, you will. I love the proliferate first. So actually, what's the most value? So we can do this. We have to spend the 2 mana. All right, so it is better to Huatli's Raptor, go ahead and proliferate, get some value, and then put counters onto everything else. Hopefully hit another one along the way. Yeah, submit few. Auto pay. We are kind of letting them go off with the combo a little bit, but we're going wide, which is good against the Rakdos Sack deck. That's actually one of the reasons I think this is a good deck is against all the sacrifice decks, we are going wide enough that, I mean, yeah, they can have Tame the Firstborn, things like that can hurt us. Like if they steal a Gilded Goose, it's massive, it's bad. But we also have lots of life gain against all of just the sacrifice aristocrat abilities. We also can go like kind of mid-rangey aggro style with this, which is really fun. With Squad. Cool. Come on, where's the lands? All right, let's go with All Seed of Life's Bounty. This has 2 vigilance counters now because of proliferate, right? Let's go ahead and swing in. I think we just go aggressive here. I shouldn't have played out the Life's Bounty. I forgot about that. That's fine though. Give him a target. We get to put counters onto each of these. I'm trying to think of how anything can go really wrong here. They're down to 2 cards left in hand. If they don't have Obosh, this should be pretty good for us. We just go try to do as much damage as we can. Okay, attack in. We could technically start creating food here in case we want to bring out Questing Beast or something instead of putting counters onto things. Okay, they get another blocker. Cool. All right, chumps. Chumps. Just 2 chumps. No Footlight Fiend. Intriguing. So get in for 6, get in for 8. Or get Questing Beast, which swings over a lot of things next turn. I mean, we also kind of want to be hitting in with Gilded Goose. We could also just hit land. If we hit land, then we get Vivian, though. How aggressive are we trying to go here with this? 8 damage is not a small amount of damage. They also get Obosh next turn and can hit in for a bunch themselves. All right, so I guess these guys still have Vigilance, though. Whatever. Sacrifices again. I am going to go for the Gilded Goose play. All right, and pass the turn. Mountain. Witch's Oven. Do they have Claim the Firstborn? Cauldron Familiar. Alright, they get Obosh eventually, so that is something important to remember. Questing Beast gets through everything but Woe Strider. So yeah, we'll create a food token here. If we hit Forest, I think we go for, ooh, Proliferate though. That's really good. Questing Beast or Proliferate? We can also put a counter onto Questing Beast and then Huatli's Raptor on the next turn. Alright, so let's go ahead and go for Questing Beast. They're still at 17, so we're going to play a little bit of a long game here. All attack. This has 7 toughness. That's going to be really hard to kill. Life's Bounty. We probably just let him offer a trade there. I don't think we care about it at this point. Like, giving it protection for Questing Beast or a big thing might be nice. Alright, we'll keep it back. I'm assuming Footlight Fiend just kills it, though. Alright, they're taking 7. Keep the Woe Strider. Sack Cauldron Familiar. That's cool. That's cool, that's cool. A 6/6 Questing Beast next turn will be pretty nice, though. Yeah, kills Allseed. So what are the best draws? I mean, just land is the best draw here at the moment. And this is the weird thing is I was initially trying to play a little bit more ramp in this deck, and then I realized that Convoke is just so powerful and it basically is all of our ramp. And so the more Convoke cards that we have was equaling out to be more ramp cards almost in the deck. And so it's been I've been back and forth with exactly how to play this. All right, has Witch's Oven. Yeah, it's game. Good game. This is a fairly surprisingly effective and powerful deck. And after having 4 games in a row where I could not get more than 2 lands, so I'm cutting those out, by the way, because they were just ridiculous. This is better. All right, we have semi-slow lands, but we'll keep it. Dropping Questing Beast. The Keensight Mentor is nice. I feel like I'd rather have the Questing Beast here and draw into another one of those. Just to have an actual legitimate good card here. Because Keensight Mentor is great if we have the right things go right for us. We'll get out the Healer's Hawk past the turn. You want to scry in some more lands here with Temple of Plenty. Alright, that's actually a decent draw. If we get Venerated Loxodon, so I do still want lands. Maybe we can scry into Venerated Loxodon. Alright. Healer's Hawk attack. Hopefully no board wipe on turn 4. Or turn 3. Shocks themselves. Charming Prince. Alright, so they got a blocker. That's cool, that's cool. If we get Venerated Loxodon, I'd almost like to hold back the Raptor. Let's see what we hit. Johnny the Great-Hearted. I mean, we'll keep it. Yeah, that's what we're going for. We have to draw in some more Raptors, just more Proliferate after the fact. Do what we can while we can. Swing in, down to 16, pass the turn. No play for turn 3. Sorry, turn 4. Alright, attack in. Here and here. Okay, down to 13. And pass the turn. I mean, if they do have board wipe, being able to play Questing Beast after board wipe is not too shabby. Instead of beforehand. Which I think I want to go for the Johnny Greathearted first. I don't think I've given as much value to a Johnny as I probably should have. I do think that there's just a pretty good like aggro deck that runs a couple of these. It's so good to be able to have Vigilance and just put counters onto everything on a turn. It's not too shabby at all. I mean, I know it's not quite Fires of Invention or Mono Red, Embercleave stuff, but it's good nonetheless. You could bounce either of these. Yep, that's fine. I feel like Omen of the Sea would probably be better there unless they're really worried about their life total. They are really worried about their life total. Okay. Pass to my turn then. Castle Ardenvel. Agony. Counters onto everything.
Back while you still can.
Hold back. Life's Bounty. Questing Beast swing in for 5 next turn. If we get to put a counter on it still. They do block. I feel like they're really worried about their life total here. They get a blink with Yorion here as well, so... I mean, I guess I'm fine with it, but... I feel like it's a little over concerned. Cavalier of Dawn. We don't get to protect a Johnny, unfortunately.
Humility brings perspective. I shall return.
Get a blink it, kill something else. Yeah, that's really, really good. We'll just let it happen. We would lose this and that, basically. We still get a 3/3. Pass to my turn. Ah, that's really annoying. Temple of Plenty. No more lands. Now we're hitting way too many lands. If you have 24 lands, the algorithm says, oh, you deserve all the lands. If you have 23 lands, you just don't draw any at all. That's what we have learned. That is what we have learned. All right, so this is dying anyway, so we want to swing in with it. How much damage do we have? I think we actually go aggressive here because Cavalier of Dawn is going to kill something else again. We get 3/3s with it, which is sweet. Let's see. So we get 6. We actually have lethal if they don't block. Yeah, we attack in. Okay, down to 3, pass the turn. Hopefully they don't have life gain, board wipes, anything like that. Time wipe. Yep. Okay, Questing Beast off the top. Oh my gosh. Alright, we actually got Questing Beast off the top. Alright, we only have 2 in this deck. The odds of that are very, very low. So we'll take it. Ooh, okay. Raskolnikov, bring it on. That looks like a not very great hand. We have Scries into good things. Life's Bounty does slow it down. We're up against Luris, though. And we could have such a worse hand here, too, though. March of Multitudes is pretty good against them. Unbreakable Formation's not great, but let's mulligan. Alright, this is better. I mean, we have ramp, we have a turn 1 play. All the slow lands. I swear that I put Temple Gardens into this deck. I've not seen him in like 6 games. That's just my luck here. Is it better to keep the Scry lands or potentially an untapped land? And we could scry into something better. Sure. If we get to Johnny the Greyhearted, that would be pretty nice. Hey, there is Temple Garden. Shock it in so that we can... Actually, no, let's go for the scry now while we can. What am I thinking? All right, a creature. A creature is nice. Is it a good enough creature? I'm not so sure. We haven't seen Priest of the Forgotten Gods yet. All right, we're going to go ahead and keep it. With Unbreakable Formation, counters onto everything. Like, Healer's Hawk does gain his life, and that's a nice thing. Cauldron Familiar. They have the witches of it, of course. All right, pass to my turn. So a Johnny this turn, or do we go just Healer's Hawk, create a food token for some life gain later? I really thought that was going to come in untapped. That was a misplay. Well, Healer's Hawk, I guess this is what we're doing. Pass the turn. I thought I had played the Temple Garden last turn. Because I almost did, but then didn't, remember? Alright. Guys, this is right after having like 4 of the worst games I've ever had. I was stuck on 2 lands, but still like had a shot throughout the entire game. 4 games in a row, stuck on 2 or 3 lands, and it was just brutal. Alright. Up to 22. We do have life gain stuff, so I mean, Cauldron Familiar is good, but if we are gaining life along the way, it's not as bad. Hate you, card. That probably is like my least favorite card right now. Nissa, who shakes the world. Yeah, we'll play that. Get to create creatures every turn that are vigilant. Let's untap Castle Ardenvale. 2 mana is not very... I mean, I guess we can actually... We don't have the Gilded Goose right now, so... Yeah, just Ardenvale. Actually, let's see here. We do kind of want to keep Castle Ardenvale for later. Let's untap Temple of Plenty. Because that can be pretty useful. Okay, swing in here, swing in here. We'll sacrifice the Goosey. Yep, they blocked, it's fine. I guess swinging in was a misplay. They have the food to use it. A Johnny and Unbreakable Formation. Alright, we need to draw creatures. Please, let us draw creatures. I mean, again, Castle Ardenvale to just create creatures to kind of be okay against Priest of Forgotten Gods is a thing. We are taking 3 per turn. Come on, swing Priest at Nissa. Not gonna happen, but it happened. Prox is still a long ways from being able to be played. Luris is a thing. Act of Treason, come on. It doesn't matter. Okay, resolve. It untaps anyway. Gosh dang it. Okay, swings both of these at Nissa down to 2. Sack something. We have to get... Oh, they're swinging at our face. That makes sense too, I guess. Being able to gain 3 each turn will be nice with a Johnny. Yeah, I really think that Priest of the Forgotten Gods, if it didn't also generate mana, would still be a busted creature. But the fact that it also generates mana is just ridiculous. And a little bit unfair. By a little bit, I mean like, holy crap, that's a little bit bonkers. And Luris, yeah. Luris, they get to bring nothing back for free at the moment. I guess Cauldron Familiar. Yep, they just play it. I think they meant to sacrifice the food, but I mean, I guess keeping it's good for them as well. All right, so the Johnny the Great-Hearted.
knowledge.
Temple Garden tapped. We could have played it untapped to create an Ardenvale token. I guess that would have been the better play, but we're going so low in life. Okay, untap. Forest.
Rise, my elemental friend.
I think we just have to gain life. Swing in with Healer's Hawk. If we -2, we get to swing in for 2, gain 2 life. This way we gain 4.
Now do you see the benefits of peace?
All right, swing in with Healer's Hawk. Don't swing in with the Forest so they get the extra Cauldron Familiar hit. Keep our life total as high as humanly possible. Hopefully they don't have another trigger, but they get another card draw to try to find it. Yay. I guess I wasn't as worried about the loyalties on these. Maybe just like playing Unbreakable Formation to get an extra life gain might have been decent there. Giving it Vigilance so it could also block. That could have been a decent play. They're bringing back Croxa. 2. Sacrifice it. All right. Yeah, Unbreakable Formation is fine to lose against this matchup. Like, we're not out of this game, and so that's why I'm still doing this. Resolve, sorry. Sacrifice. Healer's Hawk can actually gain us life. Forest is nice because we can play things, but we do have 2 Temple Gardens. We can block Luris with it. If not, Luris swings in. So I guess we sack Healer's Hawk. And we're not going to be pressuring their life total for a little bit here. Man, we have just not drawn nearly enough cards here. You know, the best thing we could draw here is March of the Multitudes. If we could March of the Multitudes, put counters onto all of them, I don't know how they come back besides just being able to get enough damage to the face. I mean, they could Croxa again. Oh my gosh. You gotta be kidding me. I think that's lethal. It's really close to lethal. Alright, we take 4. Cauldron Familiar gets the sack. They bring us down to 1. If they have anything else in hand, we're dead. Cauldron Familiar for the next turn. So, like, we have 1 more turn to gain life. Ah, come on. I mean, they've just had, like, the most insane perfect draws here. To an extent. I mean, there's some things that probably could go better, but... 3 more Witches Ovens. We gain 3, we gain 3. I mean, that's definitely not the worst thing that could happen. I think I actually still want Castle Ardenvale as well. So let's do this. Let's Castle Ardenvale. Create a human. It also has Vigilance. Untap. We still have to tap down our lands, so it's a little bit annoying because they could attack in, but I don't think it's going to matter here. Temple Garden.
The land fights for us.
Okay, we gain 4 at the end of turn. We gain 3 with a Johnny. Maybe I should have done it first, just in case they had some way of gaining more life. Gain 3 life. All right, we gain 3, we gain 4.
Now do you see the benefits of peace?
Did we actually find a way to pull this off? Okay, up to 9. We're gaining a lot per turn. any other creature helps us out. Nissa helps us get indestructible guys, which I mean, against sacrifice is not exactly perfect. I'd rather maybe just keep these guys alive some other way. No active treasons, no claim to firstborns. Any of those things are very, very, very bad. We do not like them. Sam I am. Okay, they get to replay Croxa once and then replay it again after sacrificing. We take 6 altogether. Yeah, we lost again. For the love, man. They drew the mountain. The amount of life that we have gained with this is still annoying. Yeah, wait, do they have enough cards actually? 6, yeah. Oh, balderdash. And they get to bring back the cat. All right, good game. We were actually coming back there. That was really annoying. All right, I am going to go ahead and put the games that I lost before at the end here. If you guys want to watch them, go ahead, but I totally understand if you don't. Up against Darth Lemon. Bring it on. We have Convoke stuff. We would like to find creatures, but we'll keep it. We have Castle Ardenvale, potentially. Oh, Garuda. This might be too slow now. You know what? Never mind. We may be okay. We will, I guess, keep Vivian. We have a lot of lands. It's a good thing. I'm not sure. This depends on if this is the control version. If it's the control version, I want Vivian. If it's the Fires of Invention version, Vivian might be too slow and just not quite good enough. We do get to search for cards that are less than whatever we're casting, which is actually really nice with Convoke because we can cast this for like 1, grab a Keen Sight Mentor or something like that, and do cool things. So, Bounty Agent, pass the turn. Yep. Done got stomped. Still potentially the control version. They do sometimes play that as well, but it's looking to be like it's not great.
You'll thank me later.
We're gonna get a
That's
1.
more like it.
All right, so we can get Vivian out quicker next turn with Gilded Goose. That seems better than just the Mentor here, so hopefully this survives. Gilded Goosey, pass the turn. If they have Fires of Invention, this is probably one of our hardest matchups, is just because we get to do big busted things semi-early game into like a mid-range. Oh, that's right, they just get to draw that. But all right, maybe this is a different version. This might be just like Narset control type of thing. Perhaps. All right, let's go Healer Hawk. We can also just get rid of something here. Healer's Hawk. Keen Sight Mentor onto Healer's Hawk. They Deafening Clarion and we lose everything. I can put it onto the Gilded Goose so that we can start putting counters onto that, but we'll probably do it with Veterinary Loxodon anyway. Is it worthwhile just to get rid of Teferi here? Saheeli, I feel like we're going to have flyers over, so it doesn't really matter. I want to go for getting rid of Teferi. This may not be the best play. Saheeli, yeah, again, Saheeli, they can combo off and do crazy things if it's turning artifacts into other artifacts, but we'll see. Okay, Deafening Clarion. Venerate Loxodon's not looking great, but Vivian, oh, come on. Vivian is gonna look great once we have a shot. Keen Sight Mentor, pass the turn. This is where that card looks completely wimpy. It affects nothing on the board, does absolutely nothing, and it's gonna get bounced. Perfect. All right, if we get to start playing Vivian, it's at least decent.
Here we go.
We may want these on Trample now instead of Vigilance. We'll see. Down to 19. Oh no! Narset. Really oh no now. Because they might just be able to kill Vivs now.
Mystic, let me help you practice.
Let me help you, bro. Seriously? Where's my lands? Where my lands at? Alright. Life's bounty. Yay. Auto pay. Get rid of Mercy. Yeah, get rid of Narset. Sure.
I will miss you.
We're playing this out just because there is a non-0% chance that we can still win this, but it's really close to 0 right now. They're just playing lots of good value stuff. They're gonna have Shatter the Skies, which if we draw the right cards, I mean, March of the Multitudes, if we actually drew lands, would still be something not terrible. If we actually drew lands. Sure, Keensight Mentor again, pass the turn. Quality Drafter has more value overall, but it doesn't do much for us. And we can play it with other things better in case we do hit another 2-drop. It's looking more and more like a 0% chance of us doing anything here. They just have Bone Crusher Giants hanging out. Yep. We blocked you. Down to 12. Yay. Alright. Vivian, does it just straight up die here? Not technically.
Every creature deserves life.
We'll put it on reach.
I love making new friends.
No attacks, pass the turn. They bounce this, they bounce that, whatever. Alright, so they do tick up.
I am not making this up as I go.
I mean, we get to keep Vivian alive. Yeah, I don't think we have a shot here. They just drew so many cards. Like, March of the Multitudes is something that is really powerful and good, and if we can get it into like a Johnny the Greathearted, put counters onto everything, have a really massive swing, there is potential for cool things to happen. But right now, I'm just not sure about this. Look at the bounce, get Narset back.
Nothing a poultice can't heal.
Nissa. We can untap that. Huatley's Raptor, proliferate all of these things. That's actually not a terrible draw. We actually might still be in this game somehow. Alright, so I mean, Teferi gets to bounce one of these tokens, which is terrible. Vigilance, I suppose. We've actually drawn a fairly decent amount of things here.
Harness the elements.
Huatley's Raptor from here. We do lose a blocker. Meh. If we find some ways to gain life, and they don't find board wipes, there is a chance they may not be playing too many more board wipes besides like Deafening Clarions. Like, they might have 2 Shatter the Skies or maybe Time Wipes. Alright, stomps.
I will not be quelled.
No quelling here. Else with Conquered Death. It feels like a top deck. Hit Nissa.
Fight on without me.
They could have another stomp. They bounce. Yeah. They send all these at Vivian, it dies. Then we can potentially march the multitudes into things. Man, this has just been like rude. They didn't have to send that much there. We will kill something though. They get back Brazen Borrower with a counter, which means a 3-turn clock. So I could play this. I could play Huatli's Raptor, Loxodon. I have 1, 2, 3. I could almost March Multitudes into... I'd actually rather get Loxodon down later. So Keen Sight Mentor. Counter onto each of these for 2 mana. I have to have haste for that. I mean, they both have Vigilance. It really doesn't matter. I guess putting counter to that if they had hurt the sacked. We can create 1 guy. I think we have to hope that we just draw into other good things. We have to put bodies out in the battlefield here. Proliferate. Count all their things up. Yeah. March of Multitude's going to be more expensive next turn. Pass the turn. I mean, if they don't ever find board wipe, this March of Multitudes actually is relevant. If we can put counters onto everything and proliferate a couple times before they board wipe, again, I really highly doubt that's a possibility. But like, as long as there's not a 0% chance of us winning, I like to stick in games. All right, another Teferi bounce. What's the best bounce? Probably the Temple Garden.
Let's try this.
Bounces Karuga. Draws a million more cards. You know what, actually? We'll block all of these guys. Probably board wipe here. Down to 8 past the turn. Temple Garden. All right, how much do we have for multiple toots now? We have 5, 6. We get 6 Venerated Loxodon. We tap everything down. We have 1 to block. If they have Deafening Clarion, we're just dead. This also costs 2 more right now, so that's not very great. All right, here's a little bit of a janky play for ya. Shock ourselves. Castle Ardenvale, create a dude. Veteran Loxodon onto all of them. And then we're just hoping that we're not dead. I mean, who knows? We may survive. Whatever. Oh, instant speed shattered this guy's. Nice. Crap. We do have Merchant Multitude still. So we totally planned around. Alright, I'm gonna concede now. Yeah, there's no reason. With how much value they have on board. Alright. Yeah, that's over. Pretty slow lands, but we have a lot of pieces that we want, and we're on the draw, so we could find faster lands here, but lifelinking things, good blockers, it's okay to play a bit slower. Maybe. We'll see. Against Gruul, potentially. Scry for lands. Not a land to the bottom. Zerta Goblin. Tasty. Cool. And untapped land would have been really good, Rottler. Alright, Healer's Hawk past the turn. I'm tempted in just waiting for this to not thin our deck too much, but I'd rather be able to actually play something here. Alright, activate ability. Yeah, this is the Gruul aggro deck. And I mean, this deck typically can do pretty well against that, but we did not draw the things we want here. Is it worth blocking right now just to slow the game down? Not yet. Down to 13. Eh. Okay, Huatli's Raptor. This can also kill Embercleave, which is pretty nice, the bounty agent. We can do it after blocking something else. Gain life or be able to block. You know what, let's go ahead and be even more defensive here. We're probably just blocking Zerta Goblin with Raptor anyway. Let's see if they have the Embercleave. Oh boy, do they? Do they ever? Okay, down to 7. Bounty Agent. Still no lands, man. Alright, well. Cannot win with no lands. Up against Squeeze again. I believe that was our first opponent. We get untapped Ardenvel on turn 2. I'm not sure we really need it here. Nothing really for Vigilance, but we can put Vigilance onto Healer's Hawk. Giving that counters is nice, so we will keep this. There's definitely good things here. We'll see if it does what we need it to. Scourge Spitter, okay. Got a lot of late game stuff. Where's our early game things? Okay, down to 17. And Venerated Loxodon is weird here. Alright, Healer's Hawk, because if we can't get to our Venerated Loxodon, we want to be keeping creatures out and about. It's gonna get shocked anyway, it doesn't really matter. But we also want to not let our life total go down too quickly. Alright, Keen Sight Mentor, decent blocker, pass the turn. Let's see that Cavalcade of Calamity. Robber of the Rich. Steal our land. I know you're gonna do it. I know you. Ooh. Definitely swing a Fervent Champion. I'm always gonna block Scourge Spitters over the champion here. Oh, they just grab a Nissa. I mean, if it's not a land, I'm actually happy about it here. I get one creature there. Yay. Crap. That really needed to be a land, and now they are going to hit our land with Robber of the Rich. So maybe this deck could also use something like Flower or something like that, just to make sure that we're hitting our land drops. I mean, also just like Paradise Druids would be good here. Johnny, I mean, it's not a land, so we're still happy about it. We will block. And I think we do create a lifelinker. Okay. Shocks. Come on, deck. Okay, that's been like 5 off the top. We're not running that few lands, are we? Pretty sure we have more lands than that. No attacks, pass the turn. I mean, if we're not going to be dead this turn... All right. I want a Venerated Loxodon. We could double block the Robber of the Rich so they don't get anything else here, but I think that we just have to hope for land. Land and then what? Questing Beast? Probably. Try to stay as alive as we can. Down to 6, pass the turn. Quality's Raptor, that's fine. It's kind of a land. Come on, deck. And I might just need this to stay alive. Pass the turn. Dude, this has been 2 games in a row that I've just been completely mana screwed. I think this deck has 25 lands. I can't remember. I tweaked it a little bit a couple times. There's a land. I mean, the odds are we're going to hit a land here sometime soon, right? All right. I mean, we have to block with Goose to not be dead. Don't be dead, dude. So we're going to draw a card. 4 mana gets us Fronland Felidare, which does nothing for us at this point. Yeah, the game's already over, and this is sad because we just never drew the lands we needed. And the other land was... Okay, what... Alright, that's just ridiculous. Cannot draw lands. Cannot play Magic. Up against Fabian. Bringing on Fabian. I will go for getting lands down first, I guess. So keep this. This has a lot of early game stuff. Against aggro, we have a lot of Vigilance-ness, which is nice. Getting on creatures early is also good against Priests of Forgotten Gods type of things. We're on the play. Let's go ahead and get down Triome, though. Pass the turn. Let's see if we can actually draw lands. I know I'm keeping another 2-land hand. I know. Believe me, I do. A better blocker, something that kills Luris. I guess we kind of want that down for a bit later. Healer's Hawk also just gains us life. But if we get to draw an untapped land, we get to play 2 things, which is nice. So... let's just go for the Raptor here. Pass the turn. It's the best early game value. We can actually swing in with it probably for a turn or 2. Priests of the Forgotten Gods, okay. Attack in. Again with not hitting lands. This is not cool. Down to 18. Bounty Agent. Pass the turn. Dead weight. Okay, so they're not going for Priest of Forgotten. I mean, they could still have 2 1 drops. Okay. Okay, let us play cards. Please, give me There we go. We got a land. And we can start gaining life. Another land gives us 2 things. Yeah, so Heed Bonder. Swing for 2, gain 2. We have things to sack that dodge dead weight, so that's nice. This is honestly, I mean, all the games that we've played up against like the Luris type of decks have done really well, which those are some of the best decks in Standard. So I mean, that kind of shows that Vigilance is good against sacrifice type things. Playing lots of creatures just happens to be good against that. But we have found the weakness of just like, there is inconsistency in this deck because we don't have early game card draw as much. And maybe we could build into that. I really don't know what we'd play necessarily. All right, they might sack here. If they do, I'm fine getting rid of these 2 guys. They get another mana and a draw. We'll keep the Heat Bonder. What we really want here is land for 2 more creatures. Sack here. Man, if this didn't do anything, like, the fact that this also adds mana is just so ridiculous. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Alright, double Heat Bonder. Swing in. Down to 14, pass the turn. We get to gain 4. 2 for each of them. These guys stack pretty nice as well. There actually is a lot of life gain you can get just from these Heat Bonders. I like them lots. Alright, they can keep stacking your stuff. I mean, overall that's just a good way to go. Yep. Gutter Bones. Yeah, so I think Priest of Forgotten Gods, if it was just each player loses 2, they sacrifice a creature and you draw a card would be good. But the fact that it adds mana as well is so ridiculous. Oh, alright. Just have everything you want. And I'm going to keep trying to find lands. We could go like Abzan with this deck and play Priest of Forgotten Gods ourselves. Having Vigilance creatures can be kind of nice for things like that. All right, let's just play out things. All right, so Healer's Hawk, Watley's Raptor, Mentor the next turn. We'll probably keep Healer's Hawk around because it actually can get in. We'll swing, make him sack and do the thing now, whatever. Just wasting our time, but they're playing the cat deck, okay? They're wasting everyone's time. Sorry, I'm a little bit bitter right now. We've not drawn lands for 3 games in a row. And I need to check how many lands I have, because I had 25 lands in this deck at one point, but I'm trying to remember if I changed things up or not. Guess I can count. All right, so I do have 23 lands. I must have gone down because I initially had more, like I had Paradise Druids, I had a lot of other things. So maybe that's the issue. 23 lands is just too few. And yeah, I just don't know how a green and white deck beats Priest of the Forgotten Gods without going really wide and actually like hitting their land drops. It's kind of annoying. Well, a tap land is a land, I suppose. Yeah, we got everything too slow. There's no way we can actually win from that point. I mean, Stormfist Crusader is nice. They can. Maybe there was a chance, but that was rough. All right, so after deliberation, we did realize that we only had 23 lands in the deck, and so that was not good. Not a good number of lands. So down Healer's Hawk, go up a land somewhere. That was brutal. Oh my goodness. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, even despite all that craziness and shenanigans. Even with 23 lands in the deck, 20 lands, you should be hitting 2 lands consistently and up to 3 oftentimes. With 23 lands in deck, you should be getting up to 4 pretty consistently, and that's pretty much what we want to get to with our deck. All the things up above are Convoke, or like, if we get there, sweet. And so, I mean, and we're fine getting up to 4 mana on turn 5 or 6 with this deck. So, like, I feel like the 23 lands isn't bad. 24, I guess, is better. But I don't know what's wrong with just, like, I never get past 2 lands. And if I do, I'm stuck on 3 lands for forever. You know, so I've just had really bad luck with that. I'm not sure if you guys have had the same thing. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have had similar stuff happen to you. I feel like this deck, whenever it ran fairly smoothly, like all the things we had in hand were going to help us win games if we were able to play them ever. You know, there was the one bad matchup against the Karuga control deck or whatever, and we were on the draw, I believe, and just didn't have the right kind of hand for them. And that's a bad matchup anyway. And so I feel like the deck, it was strong. Like I never felt like it was crazy weak except for not having the lands, which, I mean, that's a big deal. You can't play Magic without lands. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much, and bye-bye.